Immaculate. Substantial. Your vibe is substantially immaculate. What's good, y'all? I'm Lonnie Appleton. Yes. And I'm a healthy family advocate. And if that's your jammy and just family vibes, consider following, commenting, sharing link. Anywho, I'm sitting here with Bailey, and we have an update from the date that didn't happen, which good on her. It got too late, and she was like, look, I'm not going out with you. If we have not got to our date by this time, we ain't dating. I said, good on you. Teach him how to treat you. Anyway, so he has now had verbal vomit in her voice messages where he has gone from, because she pretty much look, I'm getting the vibe that you just trying to, and I'm not trying to do that. And he's like, well, what you trying to do? Because you have such an amazing vibe. And they're vibing. And we're vibing some more. And your vibe is immaculate and spectacular. And so I'm just listening to these voice messages because he goes from, look, if you ain't down, then we ain't got nothing to talk about. This is how he comes. First, he's like, whoa. How do you get that impression upon me? Of course, as soon as you call a guy out about sex. Of course not.
What sex?
What? I would never.
What?
And then they go from that to saying, look, yeah, I'm a grown man. If the vibe is right, this dude is all about the vibe. If the vibe is right, then why ain't we vibing together? That's grown people stuff, Because now that she's 18, she's messing with people who assume that they're adults. And so they feel like they're moving like adults.
Right,
so this is what adults do when they like each other. That's pretty much what he said to her. And I've already talked about the age type situation. This isn't no huge gap. This is just these people think they grown just because they hit 18 and they're not. He then goes into, look, we're two consenting adults. This is what consenting adults do. And then I think the next day comes and he messages her and says, what you doing? Because he pretty much said, I don't need no new friends. Right. You just trying to be friends. I don't need no new friends. So she stays silent. The next day he messages her and how you doing or whatever. And he's goes into how he must have been projecting the day before because that's not even him. That's the old him. Him now is all about the vibe and he knows she deserves respect and she's the type of girl. So
honestly, forget you even have sexual organs.
Yeah, we don't even do that over here. Made a complete 180 and then he started trying to tap into the spiritual stuff. I was like, dang, this nigga running game every which way, backwards and forwards. And then after what happened, he did something else. He flipped it again.
And then he did.
Yeah.
Let me not.
Yeah, so she's she's like, he's getting weird. I was like, yeah, well, as soon as he said he doesn't want anything to do with you if you ain't fucking if we vibe and that's just what people do when they vibe.
It just felt weird. It just seems like if someone were to buy me food, they expect me to bust it open. It's I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
What?
They rode around for a couple hours the other day, and Bailey was like, well, I kind of got the vibe that you were trying to. And he was like, that's the only vibe you picked up? And she's like, I picked up other vibes, but that's the one I wanted to address. And he's like, I mean, that's what people do when they're vibing. I was like, this nigga said, I'm going to give you 6 hours of my time, and you going to give me that. This really said, I'm going to trade you. Because at the end of the day, ladies, that's...
And he was doing stuff he needed to do.
Yeah, he just let you ride with him. He was not doing anything for you.
Gracious.
He just was like, I'm about to get this little thirsty girl. Not saying you've acted thirsty. He's just assuming you were a thirsty girl. Right. I'm going to give her some attention.
He's really trying.
Yeah, he's pulling out the whole gamut, and you're not falling for it, and I'm proud of you. Oh, but what I was going to say, because at the end of the day, you determine what your vagina is worth. Make sure you take a shot, because I finally said the V word. But you determine what your vagina is worth. Is it worth 6 hours of his time? Is it worth a meal? What is it worth? And you choose when you come up off it.
Does it vary?
Yeah.
You think it varies in situations?
Yeah, it depends on what you want.
If Dre brought you some tacos, you give it up?
Dre has gotten the coochie for less.
No tacos?
Ooh, especially if it's the young Dre. Young Dre ain't got to do nothing.
Young?
Yeah, he ain't got to do nothing. I never knew him in his prime. All he got to do is show up looking like that, and I'm like... I think it's absolutely hilarious how many tricks this boy pulled out to try to get my daughter out of her dungarees. my 18-year-old adult child. Let me add that before y'all go and take my sound and say I have violated some sort of community something. But anyway, what's good, y'all? Lonnie Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate. If that is your jam, be sure to follow, comment, copy, link, and share us with your community. And we are just laughing about this guy who like went from the F you if you ain't DTF to all the way I was projecting and I was having an out-of-body experience, and that just doesn't align with my vibe, because you just vibe so you're just so vibracious and spontaneously combusting and beautiness that I'm down to just kick it with you if you let me. Just let me kick it with you.
Combusting and beautiness.
Yes, like he was really gumping it, and I was like, dude, this dude is willing to. And look, this dude went from when niggas to you're just so beautiful and just gorgeous. So he really went. I wish I could play these voicemails for you guys, but that would be a total violation. But just know they're hilarious, especially when you are using them as a classroom, because everything's a classroom. So when you're using them as a classroom and you're just like, okay, what game did this little boy just try to play? And you watch every in a span of 48 hours? And I told her, you might as well just block him, delete him, whatever.
From the jump, he literally was already fumbling, like coming late. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, and he's used to girls accepting that.
Goodness gracious.
And he's like, how hard does he have to work for you? He pulled out all his little, for the girls that he can't get past the first wave, you got the second wave. And if he don't get you on the second wave, he got a third wave.
You better not pull to my house.
You know, with his boom box. That's why you don't let people know where you live.
Yeah, but how do I get weed now?
You and Crystal messing with the weed man.
That was not intentional.
It wasn't intentional for her either. And now y'all ain't got no plugs.
I don't need a new plug. That's not what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about where would they pull up to.
Oh, yeah. You need to...
That's what I'm saying. Like, I could do a neighbor's house.
Well, just stop forming off relationships with your delivery guys, and you don't have to worry about them knowing where you live. It's the guy who turns into stalker mode, and now he knows your freaking house.
Good idea.
Good idea. I've been popping this game since day one.
But you never told me this.
Jesus.